Although it is our public image, Gawad Kalinga is not just about houses. That is a strategy simply for popular branding and easy recall. Our work is nation building with a clear objective to bring the Philippines out of poverty within one generation. From 2003, when we launched Gawad Kalinga globally, to 2024, 21 years. The platform is basic and simple. Land for the landless, home for the homeless, and food for the hungry. They resonate with the most fundamental human aspirations. Land for roots and security, home for cover and comfort, and food for sustenance and nurture. Land and houses were the initial focus of the campaign for immediate impact and have gained wide popularity and support because people saw visible and quantifiable results. We have discovered the answer to the first two mysteries. Filipinos will share their land and donate homes to the poor, which was never done before on a massive scale in the country until Gawad Kalinga came along. When they believe in the vision and the credibility of the vehicle. The problem, after all, was not one of generosity, but simply the lack of awareness and the lack of trust. In a land of empty promises and broken dreams, integrity is the counterculture to corruption and hopelessness.
The first house we built na 18 square meters, it's now 90 square meters. Because the 5 children then who were all out of school, 4 of them have college degrees and 1 has a 2-year computer science. But the amazing thing is that place used to be known as the haven for lunggayo ng mga akyat bahay. Every other house ay merong kamag-anak sa bilangguan. It's important for us because when we talk about people will be asking sustainability, we'll always go to the first house and go to the first village. We had the direct impact on Bagong Silang in just one community. Where are we now? Over 1,500 communities. But in Bagong Silang, we built about 2,000 homes. There are 200,000 homes. 2,000 homes is only 1% of 200,000. So you have direct impact on 2,000 families, but it influenced now 200,000 families to elect a new barangay captain without money, and without a political army. So the impact, now then the influence, that's how we're going to measure. Our goal now, by 2024, is to be able to have impact and influence on about 5 million Filipino families. That's the target, 2024. This will happen if we can now, inspire 5 million Filipinos all over the world to really transcend partisan interest and differences, whatever it is, for us to really finally be one people. We are in search of our soul as a Filipino. So we're here now, we're starting to discover that God had a very special plan of why He made us Filipinos. The amazing thing is that this will happen within our lifetime and even within the lifetime of our own children. And this is what's exciting now, the schools, the local government, Filipinos here and abroad, corporations. And we discovered the innate, the genius, the creativity of our greatest wealth, our poor, the people that we have forgotten in the unvisited, undeveloped places throughout the country. And now, so what we're seeing here now, we're building connectivity, we're attracting convergence, we're really creating change that the eyes can see, change that you can touch and feel.
The problem of hunger is more urgent and dangerous than land and houses. Children will cry when they are hungry, and the parents will riot in the streets when there is no rice on their table. The challenge has always been how to bring technology from the laboratory to the ground. How do you transfer technology to 2 million subsistence rice farmers, mostly uneducated, with small land holdings, living in remote areas without adequate transport facilities? With the lack of scale and connectivity, the farmers cannot provide quality of life to their 10 million dependents, much less feed a whole nation of 84 million Filipinos. It is ironic that the bulk of our food providers are also the lowest and the poorest in the food chain. This is normal in a capitalist society like the Philippines that lacks a social conscience and moral leaders, where most of the economic benefits are reaped by the few who control capital, production, trade, and distribution. Without the strongest political will and the most dramatic change in our values that promote a culture of greed and corruption, the rapidly increasing population and the accompanying need for food and social services will be like dead weights that will prevent the country from rising. As ordinary citizens, we cannot tell government what to do. Politics in our country is not sensitive to public opinion. Governance in our version of democracy is not about leadership, but about winning elections and staying in power. But hunger is not a problem that people will accept quietly. Although 20% of our population classified as extremely poor have endured hunger silently in the past, they will join organized protest and cause chaos in the streets the moment stores are empty of rice and food items. This is not just a local situation, but a global threat. While the war against poverty and hunger is global, we must fight local. We must have a strong command post supporting our ground troops. For Central and Northern Luzon, that is the Central Luzon State University. In Southern Luzon, our command post is UP Los Baños. The goal is to build a culture of productivity. Every home should be self-sufficient, even with the limited land area. We will ally with the local government, not just to do land banking for houses, but also for food sufficiency. We can imagine all this because the GK communities we have built have become platforms for development. What we have done is to liberate the poor from the culture of greed, exploitation, and oppression. We will make it difficult for the people in our rural areas to leave their town because they already have land security, a decent home, enough food for their children, trust in their mayor, and pride in their town. Our relationship with these communities are our supply lines in this battle. Our victory will be in showing the world what they will become. The battle plan is clear and simple. First, every home will plant the 5 basic vegetables for their basic needs, for food sufficiency according to the regional taste and the most nutritious in the food groups. Second, every Gawad Kalinga community in the rural area should have communal and eventually commercial lots for integrated farming. This should include planting of fruit trees and vegetables, poultry, livestock, and aquaculture. While every community will be a micro-development, our goal eventually is to create a macro system for production, distribution, and even export. But key to all of this is social justice. We must always remind ourselves who we are fighting for. In fighting for the poor, we are fighting for our children. If we neglect the poor, our children will inherit a country that cannot provide them opportunities for a better life. A country where there will be no guarantee of food on their table or safety in the streets. A country of squatters, beggars, and corrupt politicians. A country that they will be ashamed of. You know, the brightest and the best of our people, the CEOs, the heads of corporations, we have over 400 major corporate partners in Gawad Kalinga. And also the brightest and the best are sharing the most of the resources to the least of our brethren. We will create wealth, but we will also practice enlightened capitalism where people will spread that wealth, so no one will be left behind.
Salamat kami sa Gawad Kalinga. Kung way sila, way kami pag-asa. Nakaatag sila sa among isang kalipay sa amon. Tungod nga pigado kami, tagaan kami nga balay. Tagaan na was damlag ang among kabataan. Guro tadan kami di, nangin malipayon.